go.
All right.
Oh, you're the chair.
Yeah.
It's got all the power.
Got a promotion. My clock says 5:29. Who's that coming in the door? There it is.
Right on
Hey, Richard.
I'm almost early.
At 5:30 on April 22nd, call the select board meeting to order. And I motion to go into non-public under RSA 91A:3, 2A.
Second,
Roll call vote.
Did you say yes?
There, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
The motion passes. Now in non-public at 5:30.
I want to keep the cattle on hay this time of year.
They're in pasture, but they'll be on hay for
Did you get an answer on
a couple of weeks at
Yeah,
least.
that's what everybody
On the
says
road?
too.
Once they
Oh.
kind of just stop. Because usually the cows.
Yes,
go
1
to
minute
green grass
ago.
when they have green grass.
Yeah.
Thursday.
I like to keep the hay though because
Don't mean to
the
rub it in,
sheep
but I was right.
fight it so close to the ground.
Yeah.
Did he say
it
what
sounds-
time?
Yeah,
Yeah.
6:30 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Alright.
anyway.
Okay.
Are you waiting till 6 or are you going?
Well, I'm gonna wait till she gets the Zoom.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you. Al's on. Okay.
You're on.
I think we're good.
All right, 5:55, I motion to come out of non-public.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Did you say yes?
There, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
We are now out of non-public, we're in public session, 5:55. We have some changes to the agenda. We are having a department head update with Chief Littlefield rather than Fire Chief Richard Concord. We're getting a transfer station update and additions to the signature file. Do we have any public input before we get into our meeting? There'll be a chance for public input at the end. Okay. New business, department head update with Police Chief Dana Littlefield.
Good evening. Not a ton to report. Been enjoying a bit of a lull, which is typical this time of year. What the restaurant industry calls shoulder season, or the tourism industry. That's allowing us some time to get caught up on some of our bigger cases and wrap up some of that casework on that. So that's been kind of helpful. Typically, next weekend is drug take back day, but we're not doing the April one. We will do the one in October. But regardless, you can always come by the PD with unwanted prescription medications, and typically Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, and drop them off. And we'll take them in and then discard them when the drug take back comes around. So you don't necessarily have to wait till October to do that. You can bring them in anytime. And then the only other thing I just wanted to bring up is obviously the busy season is after Memorial Day gets going, and we'll be starting with the parking enforcement again at the lake, and that means everybody's got to have the blue stickers. So if you haven't got the new blue stickers, everybody's got to make sure that they stop in here because we will be enforcing those. So it's the only reminder. I'll put a reminder up on our page at some point here as well. But that's pretty much all I got.
Can I ask a couple questions just about the data sheet? What is it, like what typical kinds of things fall under school?
The school, I think the director patrols fall in that, so like we go there like typically in the mornings and afternoons, when we're available. So during drop off and pickup. So that's probably like the bulk of those things. And then any incident that's reported through the school, juvenile related incidents or issues, or events, things of that nature, or just visits to the school and so on and so forth.
Okay, so when you see 44 total, it's not like
Incidents.
truancy
No,
or
no, it's a mix.
it's all different kinds of
Yeah, it's
okay.
proactive, reactive work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And does this list change? Like you add things and take away from things?
No, I try not to. We got into like a set, it has over the years, but it hasn't
This is
changed.
what you report each month.
Yeah, and if we do, we try to make that change at the beginning of the
Yeah.
year.
And so where does sexual assault, does that fall under assault?
It generally falls under juvenile.
Oh,
I mean, if it's an adult, then it falls under like the assault category.
okay.
Yeah.
So that was my last question. What kinds of things fall under juvenile complaints?
Truancy, theft, drug related, abuse, sex assaults, yeah, I mean, we just
Okay,
had a theft of a convenience store that was committed by a juvenile,
okay.
so, I mean, those type of things.
All right, thank you.
Anything else for Chief Littlefield?
Thanks for what you do.
Great, thank you.
Thank you guys.
Should we recognize in public session about the award that Chief has
Oh, sure.
been awarded? I don't have the actual language in front of me, but Emily does.
My email.
So,
Right, Emily?
I'm sorry, I should have printed it out.
Chief Littlefield's been awarded, that's Feed the Baby Sheep. Has been
That's not the award.
That's not the award. If you did, I'd give you an award. Has been awarded a countywide award for his work with the
Child Advocacy, Carroll County Child Advocacy Center.
for his work in dealing with the very hard reality of sexually assaulted children in Carroll County. So he's being recognized for that work and his commitment to learning all he needs to learn to be a good advocate and to be able to follow through with those kinds of cases. And he's going to be recognized on May 9th.
That's correct. It's I believe they call it the Hands of Hope. It's a recognition of a member within. It's actually not always police department.
Okay.
It's anybody that's involved with child advocacy. We have within that child advocacy center, we actually have what we call a multidisciplinary team, which is made up of the investigator, the county attorney's office, the somebody from Starting Point Domestic Violence Advocacy, a doctor or nurse from as well will typically be involved in those. A victim advocate is involved in that. So like it's any one of those people within those group that work with the Child Advocacy Center that is typically recognized. And so yeah, they had recognized me this year, and I was very appreciative. And it'll be a nice event on May 9th at Churchland in Meredith.
Well, so sad you have to do that work, and glad you're the person doing it because
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
clearly have a knack for it, have a way to make it better for people who have to go through that.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Chief Littlefield.
Thank you guys.
Have
Have a good night.
evening.
Mr. Chairman, you started the meeting a little bit early, and Maureen was not on here, so maybe you might want to ask her if she had public comment.
Oh.
Because the
Okay.
meeting was supposed to be 6 o'clock.
Hi, Maureen. We started the meeting 5 minutes early. Do you have anything you want us to take up before we get going?
Thanks very much, but we'll wait to the end. Thank you a lot.
Yeah, thanks.
Take care.
Okay. All right, next we're gonna hear from Mary at the Cook Memorial Library about their rooftop solar project.
Yes.
And,
I'm in the
Yeah.
box, so I can hear you. So we have a rooftop solar grant through the Department of Energy, and on May 13th, there's a kickoff meeting for Tamworth. It's a Zoom, and that's to go over basically how the project is gonna go. At this point, I can tell you, the person from the Department of Energy is asking us to, well, there's a couple of things. So what's happening with the project right now is they have our project officer at the US Department of Energy who is coordinating the funding, getting to the New Hampshire Department of Energy. So that's good news, that someone's actually doing that. And the other thing is that Governor and the Executive Council still need to appoint a technical monitor for the contract, for the grant project. And they also need to appoint a Davis-Bacon compliance contractor, and that's someone who makes sure that everyone's being paid the federally required wages at that level. So that contract actually covers a lot of different grants, so because of that, it just kind of slows things down, because they have to get every agency to be on board. So those two appointments were gonna happen April, but it looks like it's gonna be May. It's not on the governor, the executive council's agenda for their last April meeting, which is, I wanna say the 26th, anyway. So that hasn't happened yet, so you can see that this project, even though we're having the kickoff meeting in May or may not be ready to go at that point. In the meantime, they're asking us to get a roof analysis done for the project, and I said, well, the contractor that, we've been working with has said they do a roof analysis when they start the project. They don't do the install until they do a roof analysis. The roof's built in 2000. We have the plans. You can go in the attic, you can look at the roof, it's right there. It's all, bare rafters up there because all the insulation's on the floor, and just not really an issue. I have all the plans, so I said, okay, I'll find out how that's gonna work. Called a couple of engineers, local engineers, heard back from Horizons. They said, if you have the plans and can provide them, we can come peek at it, and it costs you $1,200. So, and this is for a grant that may or may not come through. It's like, do we want to spend that $1,200? So right now I have about $1,700 left in the library's buildings and grounds, miscellaneous buildings projects for this year. So if I spend the $1,200 on this roof analysis, it means we're probably not going to be able to fix the faucet on the sink in the bathroom, which isn't ADA compliant. So that's the kind of things we're dealing with. So I didn't know if there were funds for that. My feeling is we just still stall and wait and get the roof analysis from the contractor who's already got it built into the job when the funds are awarded. But
Mary, was that typically when there's a grant, especially a federal grant,
you think it would have been part of the requirements?
It's really like laid out in minute detail what the criteria that you have to follow are, and this was not part of it. And what was their reason for adding this after the fact?
I don't know.
That's
It
a
was
question I'd ask them.
Yeah, I feel like it was added out. I went through all the paperwork this morning just to make sure, did I miss something? I don't remember anything. We had to say how old it was and when it was built, and
Well, if that had been part of the grant application and
we
you
would
didn't
have
include it, you wouldn't have gotten the grant.
Right.
So I would ask them where this is coming from, and I'd push back a little bit because it is going to take money out of other things that you had planned for.
Yeah.
And based on their answer, then come up with a plan how to address it. But I'd ask them the question because it's odd.
Right, and that's sort of where the trustees landed on it.
Okay, good.
So I've got a question into the contractor who did the estimate, and just to see if there's any updated pricing. So that might also be something that changes our feeling about the project, is whether it's gonna cost a whole lot more. Because we have a grant for the amount that the estimate was for. And last fall, right at New Year's, he said, hasn't changed. But we don't know. By the time we get to do this, it seems like it's gonna be the fall, if not later. But we have, it has to be done by the end of 2026 for the grant, so. All right, I'll push back, I'm happy to do that.
It's
Done it before.
just, it's odd.
Yeah, it's very
why I would
odd,
Question them.
yeah, and I kept saying, you know, we don't wanna do this if we don't know we're gonna get it. So why would we spend that money? All right, so anyway, that's what's going on with the solar. It's a lot of wait and see, and we'll see what happens on May 13th. But I haven't had any communication with them since March 25th, so it seems like things have stalled. But not having that contractor be appointed by the executive council just makes me think it's gonna be delayed a little more.
Does it need to be an engineering company that does the roof
So that
analysis?
was my next.
You know, I asked that.
I mean, could it be like a, you
Building.
know, a builder that had, you know, a certain reputation or whatever, of
That's a
some sort?
process. Does someone have letterhead? Yeah, no, it would be, and I don't think so, I don't know. She recommended it be,
Okay.
I think it was part of the conversation, who could do a roof analysis. And it's like a structural engineer, obviously, but why couldn't it be a builder?
Yeah.
It's really very open up there, you can see exactly what's going on. We have the plans, you know, they're not that old.
I mean, not that it's a ton of money, but maybe if we could save a few $100, you know.
Yeah.
Or, I mean,
Yeah, moving
maybe
forward.
there's a contractor who lives in Tamworth who's willing to donate the 15 minutes that he or she's gonna have to
Yeah.
That's probably how
put
long
into
it'll
it,
take,
you know?
Because we know exactly how much it's
Yeah.
gonna weigh. We know that
Yeah, they're not
the
very
install on this standing seam roof is pretty much you clip it on.
Maybe it just requires more of a peek and a signature of some sort from the right
Yeah.
person.
They're just checking boxes.
That's a good question.
Right.
That-
So I was
And
gonna
that's
ask,
what she said, pretty much. was
you
the
mentioned
indication.
that they're asking and they think and they feel. Is there any actual weight behind their statements? Do you know?
Let me read it to you.
You should never know till you submit something, whether it's good enough,
Yeah.
which is kind of frustrating.
Okay, it's therefore, I strongly encourage those who have not yet completed their roof analysis to do so without delay. It is crucial for us to be as prepared as possible in anticipation of grant funding becoming available again. I know. Yeah, it feels like ticking boxes.
Yep.
Yeah, and especially if the roof analysis is already baked into your grant application and the project design.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe you
It's
get the
redundancy.
contractor to come in a month early and do
Sign
it.
off on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Send you
he
an
did, he
email.
was not interested in coming to do anything before any kind of funding, and I don't blame him one bit, they're
Yeah.
busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't seem reasonable, yeah. So, we'll keep talking about
Yeah.
it, see if we can find
Contracts, that's a
something.
good idea.
Yeah. Let's see, so ask around, I'll ask.
Contractor built my house, not an engineer, and the roof hasn't caved in yet.
Most buildings weren't engineered.
Yeah.
Do you know who the contractor was who built the roof?
The roof?
Yeah.
It was, oh yeah, that's right, it was, oh gosh, I'm just not gonna pull it out of my head right now. It's someone that built several libraries in the
Yeah.
state, yeah. Yeah, I could reach out to them. Cause, you know, they're at every conference looking to
Yeah.
sell you another project, so. That's a good idea, I'll do that.
Yeah, because they have an engineer on staff.
Yeah, is this roof gonna be heavy enough?
And so you'll give them $250 to review their plans that they already used for the project.
Oh, gosh.
It's cheaper than 1,200.
Well, anyway, that's where that's at. May
Okay.
13th, there's a Zoom. I think Emily's coming with me. I think it'd be good if you did.
May 13th.
Yeah, May 13th, 9 a.m., the Department of Energy,
Okay.
EECBGMS kickoff meeting. And this is, the agenda is roles and responsibilities, project scope, project budget, technical monitoring. It's a bunch of overview of just the process of it, project timeline, project success criteria, so it's seems like a pretty organized meeting. They are having some of these meetings scheduled with some of the projects that are a little closer. I think that had the funding or the funding approved before we did in March. So they still haven't started any work. So anyway, so that's all I have for the solar.
Okay, so here, our next item on the agenda is discussion about the exterior painting.
Yes, actually, I did have one more thing in the solar about whether we would put that out to bid when it came time to do that. And
Because you have the one,
because we could do that now, or we could, you know, I'd probably like to see the person that did all the estimations bid on it, and I think they will. They're the ones that installed the system that's on the nurses edition here, Maine's Electrical. And they do, according to them, they do the installs for one of the other people that bid on the project. It's like, so they subcontract to do, anyway, it gets kind of,
The only tricky thing about bidding now is if they've got a 30-day
oh, right,
window on the
yeah.
bid before the numbers aren't good anymore.
Well, why don't I wait until I hear back from, I sent the contractor an email today asking, can you provide any updated pricing or at least an indication of whether prices have gone up? Because they hadn't as of either the end of December, beginning of January. But it could be that if he indicates that they have gone up, I think that at that point it would be good to think about a bid. Because we only have what was approved for the project. Yeah. All right. I'll figure it out. Sorry, excuse me. So the painting.
yeah,
So we have exterior painting project. It was approved a warrant article, wondering when that can go out to bid. Because that is the type of thing that should be done I know we have a window to get that done this year, and I think the funding was through the end of 2026 in case something happened. It didn't happen this year because scheduling painting can go more than a year out
Yeah.
at this point, especially when you're dealing with lead paint, and we need a lead certified painter for that building. So wondering about that. I was planning on applying for Moose Plate grant money, but I don't think it's gonna work time-wise because the funding needs to be, it's after October, and you
Yeah, it'll
can't
be
paint
late.
after October.
Late in the year.
Yeah, and this happened before, and we did get the funding, and then we weren't able to get the painting done and they delayed the budget that year, so it was even November. I couldn't spend it till after November. So I think this may not be any grants coming in for this particular project.
It'd be great if you could find a contractor for this summer, but I'd be kind of surprised.
Well, we've been talking a while.
You have? Okay.
Yeah. But should we start the process?
I think you have to.
Oh,
Do that?
yeah.
Yeah, okay, so if I put together an RFP, do we want, because it's a Selectmen project, it's not a library.
Yeah, so
funding,
Emily,
so
you work with Emily, she
we'll do
does
that.
the drafting with it and
We'll do
puts them out.
Yeah.
looking at the warrant article.
Yeah, I was wondering, did you get it, where did we come up with the money that we asked for in the article? What was it? It was 17,500, something like that?
What are you asking?
How-
Where did you come up with that figure?
From an estimate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
Straight up estimate.
okay. Just from a contractor?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, someone who has the lead certification.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, I can work with you on that.
Okay, we'll do that.
Yeah,
We'll figure
fair
out the timing. Okay. That's it, that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you
Good.
for coming
Hang
in.
in there.
All right, so we're trying, we still,
Did this already.
we've completed our hazard mitigation plan. Another part, we forgot to ask Dana, how frequently do we do those? Do you have any idea? Emily?
That, the last one I saw was 2021.
Every 5 years?
So that might have been right when I got on the board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was between department heads and mapping and planning solutions, combined effort, we got the hazard mitigation plan
5
completed.
years.
And so I motion to adopt the updated 2025 Tamworth Hazard Mitigation Plan.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Did you say yes?
There, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Hubbard, yes.
Roberts, yes.
Motion passes. Moving to old business, Richard will lead us in a discussion of club motorsports.
If you recall, last summer, I think it was, we had a couple of complaints about a noisy weekend or two at CMI Tamworth. We reached out via email, and then I don't recall if Emily, if you had a phone conversation, it was all just email with
Just email,
the
yeah.
owner, requesting attendance at a meeting and data, noise data for the particular dates, and no data has been received. And the response from CMI management was that they'll see what they can do to schedule a meeting, but they really couldn't give us a date when they might be here. So it's been at least 6 months now, and we have no data and no attendance at our meeting. So at our meeting a few weeks ago, we asked our attorney to draft a letter, which you have in your packet, to go to CMI to ask them to provide us with data and to attend a meeting. I would think if you can run a multi-million-dollar business, you can attend a meeting in the host community and respond to a data request that your operational plan says that you will do. The one change I would suggest in the letter is at the start of the last paragraph. It says, I'm requesting 1 year's worth of such data. I don't want a year's worth
Yeah.
of data, because we could be swamped with a bunch of numbers and not
Yeah.
know what to do.
I noticed that too.
So I would change that to, I'm requesting a written response within 10 days to the prior data request. My guess is we don't have the data because they don't have it, because either they don't keep it or they don't even get it. Never mind keep it. But you don't know if people are unresponsive. At the very least, I think they should show up and talk to us.
Yeah,
And it would be nice if that was a friendly conversation.
right, maybe they could start keeping data.
Yeah. But you don't know if you don't know. So I would recommend that one change, and that the letter be sent as soon as possible.
My only other recommendation for change is updating the language of selectmen to select board
Right.
in 3 places.
Yep.
All right.
That's my motion.
Oh, okay.
Send a letter with that edit.
With those edits. We have a second.
Oh, second, yes.
All right. Roll call vote.
You said yes?
There, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Emily, for doing that.
No problem.
So we recently amended our personnel policy to include a sick bank. And that has now been amended. And in that case, I will motion to adopt the personnel policy as amended.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, roll call vote.
You say yes?
There, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
Motion passes.
Because we have an instance where we have an employee who may need to apply for the sick bank sooner than later, part of the policy says that this is administered by the town administrator, a select board member, and a third member appointed by the select board. And I'd be willing to be the select board representative, and I was talking to Emily, and I recommend that Julie Lanoy, who is the executive director for the Tamworth Community Nurse Association, be the third community member, or the third committee member. Julie has said she's willing to do that. It would be good, she's certainly would be a good medical set of eyes on these requests. So I guess I'd like a motion to nominate that committee so that we can dive into it if the request does come in that we're expecting.
So have you made a motion then?
I'm asking for a motion.
Asking for a motion.
So moved. What she said.
That's my line.
I know, stealing it.
Second.
Roll call vote.
You said yes?
There, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Prejudice, yes.
Roberts, yes?
Okay, did you get that, Emily?
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank
we
you.
are now prepared.
Now that we have the policy, though, people have to volunteer to put into it, though.
Yes.
Do we have any volunteers waiting for the policy?
We don't know yet.
Yeah, part of it is now I'll be sending out an updated copy of the policy to all the employees, and I need their signature saying they received the updated personnel policy, and with that, I'll be saying, you know, we're accepting hours to be donated at this time. And I'll also be sending a reminder in December when we do our open enrollment for all of our, like health insurance. It's a good time to remind employees, like, hey, if you have hours, they're gonna be, you know, rolling over now. It's a good time to donate to the bank.
Mhm.
So, hopefully we get some donations.
Okay. Our next item is transfer station updates with Richard Doucette.
Three things. I've got an estimate to install the water line and the pump to feed the new bathroom. I have one estimate from Hartley Well Drilling who installed the well. And Federal Piping decided not to submit a bid, they're too busy, even just to go out there and look at it. And I did not hear back from the other two, CMK Plumbing or Granite State Piping. I get the impression everybody's very busy right now. The estimate from Hartley had two different options. One was a more powerful pump deeper in the well. I think I would probably go that way just to be safe. The one thing I realized about an hour ago after looking at this is the Hartley price includes the expansion tank in the mechanical room, but that's already paid for. Cobalt is already putting that in. I don't know how much that costs, but at least it's a few $100 maybe.
Oh, $2,000.
Yeah, I think it's probably a couple.
I just got one looked at.
I think it's a
quoted
pretty
for
good chunk,
$2,000.
change
It's $1,000
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
I was wondering why this cost so much, but
Yeah.
so I think this price will go down. So either we could award it at this price with the realization it's going to be lower and I can update you at the next meeting, or we can wait till our next meeting. There is some benefit just to get them going so that Hartley and Cobalt can start talking and figure out who's doing what. But I'm open to either one, but it's the one price we have. The obvious person to do it since they're the one to put the well in anyway.
Yep.
That price does not include trenching and backfilling. Cobalt will have an excavator on site, so they would do that. And that's an add-on.
Didn't they give us a price like
They
a little
did.
under $2,000 or
Yeah,
something?
1,800. And I think I'm going to hold off on that because that's on the agenda. Because I think one thing that Chris from Cobalt mentioned is he urged us to put the insulation over the water line. He said they saw this past winter frost 5 or 6 feet deep, which was really surprising.
Wow.
Cheap insurance.
Yeah. And also, so I think the water line trenching, that number's going to change. So I won't be looking for a vote for that tonight, but I would like either we vote now on the Hartley or we wait 2 weeks.
Let's do it now.
I think we should do that.
I'll make a motion, we award the water line installation at the transfer station to Hartley Well Drilling for an amount not to exceed $10,500 with the understanding it will go down because the expansion tank is already funded.
Second.
Roll call vote.
You say yes?
Barry, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Prejudice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
Okay, motion passes.
So the cobalt trenching, they had a price 1,800 and change for the trenching and backfilling. The insulation was an add-on, so I think it makes sense we should do that. They also had an add-on for sand, but I've already confirmed with the road agent that the town can provide sand and gravel, so we don't need that. One thing that I think is going to change the cobalt trenching is, this is a very small plan, that Cobalt is gonna have to cut through the pavement for the bathroom itself, because it's on pavement, to build the foundation. They're also gonna have to cut through the pavement for the trench to go back to the well. I don't think it makes sense to cut those pieces of pavement. I think it makes sense to take out a bigger piece of pavement, because the road's gonna have to be regraded to the right of the building. And also Chris from Cobalt said, I wouldn't cut a little piece of a trench and assume that it's not gonna slump in the future, just cut a bigger piece of pavement. So I propose we ask him to remove a bigger piece of pavement. The road will be regraded in gravel. The road agent, I met with him today, said it'll probably be fine, you don't need to pave it. If we find out we need to pave in the future, we'll pave in the future.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt to let it sit a full season or two as well, to let everything kind of settle into
Yeah,
place and get ran over some.
yeah. And I think the price will be fairly cheap because there'll be no cost for the disposal because the highway department will take the pavement.
Yeah.
So when they're out there digging the trench, they just take out more pavement. So I'll ask, I've already sent that to Chris from Cobalt to get an estimate. So on the agenda, the Cobalt trenching quote, we'll deal with that at the next meeting. The last item is Alba Architects. Just as we do with HEB engineers, Alba will be performing some construction supervision function of the bathroom, since they're the people who designed the building. So we have a proposal from Alba Architects for an amount not to exceed $8,750 to review any submittals from Cobalt, which they've already been doing without a contract, and to do probably once a month go out and inspect, see how the work's doing. HEB will do the stuff they designed, which is the foundation, and Alba would do the stuff they designed, which is the above ground stuff. So make a motion, we approve that proposal from Alba.
Second.
Have comments, discussion?
Nope.
Okay. Roll call vote.
Did you say yes?
There, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
It's yes.
Robert, yes.
The motion passes. Okay, takes care of our old business. Did we do the additions we were discussing? Yes,
Yep, he's done
we
everything.
did. Okay, next is the administrator report.
The account balance is $2,247,176. Just a reminder, we posted on the website, and sent out the alert to anyone who subscribes for the town news, but that Depot Road will be closed at both ends, on Thursday from 6:30 a.m. to 12 o'clock p.m. The road crew is gonna be doing some tree work and some culvert work, so, residents will be able to leave the house. It's just that it won't be open as a throughway, so.
Thursday or Wednesday?
Thursday, the police department
Someone
is,
told me Wednesday.
yeah, the police department had posted it as Wednesday on their website, but Dana was informed tonight, so he'll update that. I also just had a question from Rick Moreau, as far as, I knew that we removed for the town, the land that was donated to the town, we removed the,
Jersey barriers.
thank you, so that they could access it, but do you want him to put up any other sort of temporary rope or something?
Nobis talked to Richard, and my understanding was that they were gonna tell him when they were done, and he's putting the barriers back.
Oh, okay, okay.
You could have Rick just double check with Richard, because I know Richard talked to the engineer directly.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Other than that,
There's
just
things down there.
usual busy office stuff. Any questions for me?
No.
That's my report.
We will move on to select board update. And we'll start with Richard.
I'm trying to look for the date. Steve, do you recall the date the concrete slab work went in? I can't
It
find it.
was last Thursday. So that would have been the 17th
17th.
when it was poured.
So there it is. The new slab for the ground level compactor is in and it's done, and the wiring from the building out to the standpipe is done. The final hookup will happen on April 28th, when Atlantic Recycling will move the compactor into place. And we'll see if it works. I assume it does. On the 17th, we had a pre-construction meeting with Cobalt and HEB and Alba and the road agent and everybody else in town. I can't remember who else was there. Everybody was there to kick off the bathroom construction project. It was good to get everybody there in one place and work out what's what. Oh yes, Dave Kribbe from GW Brooks, the septic installer, was there as well. One glitch that he did point out is the data on the septic plan is different than the data on the bathroom plan, because the septic plan is a couple years old now. So what he suggested is we get the survey data that HEB did for Sanborn Head, send that to Mark McConkey so he can update the septic plan. I find this very annoying because we've already revised the septic plan once again, but now we have to do it again. But I guess that makes sense. Everybody should be working off the same plan.
Yeah, and the state probably won't approve the septic if anything, like if the foundation's shifted or anything like that.
That's what
So,
Dave.
it's really not a big deal at all
Yeah.
for Mark to do that.
So that's just, so the data request, I've already signed it to HEB, then they'll send us the data, and then we shuffle it over to McConkey. Ron St. Michel from Sanborn Head and myself and Willie did another visit to the Ashland transfer station on the 18th, because I was trying to understand better. They have a very small site. Oh, and Carl was there, sorry. I knew I'd forget somebody. And Willie wasn't there, right?
No.
Willie wasn't, and you were. They have a very small site and a very small building, and I was curious, how do they move their commodities around? Where does the public put it? How do you then get it in the baler? It's clear what they do with the bale. So it was good to understand the real details, and their DPW director, Craig, is like a wealth of information. It's amazing the amount of stuff that they recycle. Way more than any town I know of, and it's a tiny little town. So I think it gave me some good ideas on how we can do something at our transfer station. So I've got a meeting scheduled Friday morning with Ron St. Michel to put some of those ideas on a piece of paper, and invites should be going out to Steve and Emily and Willie and Brian Gillespie, so we can look at that plan. Essentially, the concept is to build a small narrow building where the can shack is now, where the tin and aluminum can is, on the slab, for people to drop their recyclables. Put a baler in there as well, but they need a place for storage. So you buy some trailers, and there's a couple places on site, either where the chipping brush pile is now, or to the left of that where it's now trees, that we could remove and put them there. Because you need space for people to drop their stuff, a place to bale it, and a place to store it. And Ashland, they don't even bother going online to figure out how to market stuff, it's a whole person's job, finding what's the price for plastic this week, should we sell our plastic bales. The NRA does that, and you don't even need a full tractor trailer full of stuff. They can do a combination of a few different places to fill up a trailer, because pretty much you sell it by the trailer. So it was really a very useful meeting, and it finally gave me some ideas on what we can squeeze into the property that we have. So there'll be a meeting this Friday morning at 10:30, if anybody wants to dial in. I'll come to the office and do it with Emily, and we should have a first version of a plan of what this building and the location of trailers and what that might look like. If things grow in the future, then we could move those trailers down to the lower area by the road and build a bigger building where the brush pile is. So there's kind of room to expand in the future. But at least we can start small, because that may be all the money we have, is to start small. So that's it for me.
Let's see, I went to the library trustees meeting while ago, and they have 3 new trustees just elected this year. So really it was introductions and telling the new trustees what their jobs were and describing the different committees that they could serve on. And then Mary brought up the roof issue, but that was pretty much it for the library meeting. I was at the transfer station pre-construction meeting. I haven't been too involved in that whole business, so it was really good to be on site and see them talking about different parts of it, like where the septic system goes. And Richard Roberts said that they can cut all the trees that are in the way for the leach field, because they'll just, the ones that are big enough, they'll use them for firewood at the town garage. And then I did go with Richard to Ashland, and that was very enlightening. Some good ideas. And I think that's about it for me this week.
Okay. 2 weeks ago, I was up at the transfer station almost every day, it seemed like, getting the ground level compactor project off and running. We had a couple meetings, a couple late night meetings, a couple early morning meetings, but I was very excited to see that everything's cut, poured, electrical's done, going in. And I really appreciate Brian Gillespie and Richard Roberts and their flexibility. Richard Roberts brought a truck up there, kind of last minute because a few plans changed as the project went along to haul off the asphalt, which was great. And Brian was up there a ton, making sure things were going smooth. So really appreciate that. And then other than that, I've been working with our IT consultant to get an accurate estimate of what it's going to take to replace our very aged server, as well as all the appropriate licensing and the migrations for the softwares, cutovers, and so forth. So that is.
And we approved the money for that at town meeting?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's the logistics now of what software do we have to update, other licensing issues, and a few other things like that. Microsoft also with their new server OS requires a different licensing scheme than before, so other things to think about there. But that's it for me.
I will harken you back to weeks ago when I shared that a woman, I think on Sarah's Circle, had called about trash from Dollar General.
Right.
And we had talked about sending a letter, and before we got to that point, I talked to, and I talked to him weeks ago, and I just kept forgetting to tell you, talked to the regional manager of Dollar General, and he said they had just gone through a bunch of transition in the Tamworth store, and they were really trying to overhaul it, personnel-wise and other, and that he was very apologetic to hear about the trash blowing all around the world, and was on it, and said that if we had any further complaints to call him. He gave me his cell phone number, so we should pay attention to that, you know, if you're talking to folks who live near Dollar General, just to see if it is indeed cleaned up with the transitions he mentioned. Novus Engineering, who is the environmental engineering firm that's doing the soil and water testing on the 374 Tamworth Road property, is starting this week. And it's 2 phases. One, I think, involves soil sampling and installing the test wells for the water, and then the second will be to go back and draw from the wells. So that's on target for the dates that they had originally proposed, so that they'll be done with the testing by the first week in May, and we should have information not too far after that. So that's great. I met with Alex Moot, who's the head of the Coral Lake Conservancy, and Ned Beecher, who's the chair of the Conservation Commission, to talk to them about conservation deed restriction matters that have come up and that we're going to discuss next at our next board meeting. And then LRPC has a commissioners meeting at the Guilford Library this coming Monday, 6 PM. The topic is, Richard, you probably don't have to go because it's Matt talking about solid waste, recycling. You could probably run the session by now. But a reminder that the awards that are shared at the annual meeting, the deadline for nominating anybody is May 1st, and there are 3 different awards. One's a community service award, one's a environmental stewardship award, and one is kind of like your impact, economic impact on the community for an individual or group. I think I'm remembering those right. Anyway, the forms are super easy to fill out. Anybody in the community can nominate anybody that they want to that fits those criteria. You just fill them out and email them back in. Be great to have more Tamworth recognition for the good work that people are doing. And that is that. Oh, did we get any, you posted the LRPC alternate? Did you get
Yeah.
anybody?
Not yet.
So we do need an alternate, and that just is somebody who goes to the meeting if I can't go or Richard can't go. It's pretty light duty, interesting, and they have snacks, so if you're interested in that, anybody who's watching should reach out to Emily to find out more or to put your name in.
My turn.
Your
It's
turn.
No select board update from me. Just enjoying the finally decently warm weather. I did go to Mexico, so that doesn't count as a select board update, but that was fun. More fun than being in New Hampshire. Warmer. That's it for me.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this is the next opportunity for public input.
When is the next meeting and what time?
Next meeting here? That's a good question.
It's May
is May 6th,
2
6
weeks.
o'clock.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Jim.
Yes,
So, I just wanted to make a comment about the Page Hill traffic stuff. I don't know if you've revisited this issue, but just in my experience driving around up to Conway back at night in the recent snowy weather that we had, I am very grateful to have a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit. So, thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
yes, Jen.
The hazard mitigation is every 5 years.
Every 5 years.
By FEMA standards.
Okay,
And I also have a phone number that you can call, 603-271-3670. And it's the New Hampshire Department of Energy. You can ask them directly about the solar, the roof issue.
oh yeah,
Find out why that's happening.
okay. Thank you. We will move on to the signature file. A motion to approve Cathedral Ledge Distillery to operate at their application to the farmer's market.
Second.
Roll call vote.
You say yes?
Barry, yes?
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
Make a motion to approve the permit for the Arts Council of Tamworth, an outdoor event.
Second.
Roll call vote.
You say yes?
Barry, yes?
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
Thank you. I make a motion to approve the intent to cut from map 408, lot 56, access road, High Street.
Second.
Roll call vote.
You say yes?
Barry, yes?
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
Make a motion to approve the timber yield tax from map 414, lot 17, the amount of $1,932.83.
Second.
Roll call vote.
You say yes?
Barry, yes?
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
I make a motion to approve the excavation tax for the following properties. Map 201, lot 39, amount of $861.02. map 214, lot 162, sublot 2, the amount of $886.88. Map 202, lot 9, the amount of $248.84.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Did you say yes?
Barry, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
I make a motion to approve the PA 30 elderly and disabled tax deferral application for map 215, lot 115.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Did you say yes?
Barry, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
Make a motion to approve the PA 29 elderly exemption application for map 407, lot 35.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Did you say yes?
Barry, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
Make a motion to approve the PA 29 veterans credit application for map 209, lot 22.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Did you say yes?
Barry, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
I make a motion to approve PA 29 solar exemption for map 407, lot 1.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Did you say yes?
Barry, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
I make a motion to approve a 10 current use application for map 419, lot 6.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Did you say yes?
Barry, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
I make a motion to approve the institutional exemption worksheets,
Do one at a time.
okay, for the 2025 tax year. Huggins Hospital, map 217, lot 23, sublot 2.
Second.
Roll call vote.
What is an institutional exemption? Anybody know?
Yeah.
That's a
You
501.
fill out it's a form that proves that you are a nonprofit, so that you are exempt from paying property taxes.
Property tax. Okay. Do you say yes?
Barry, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
I make a motion to approve the institutional exemption worksheets for Bear Camp Center for Sustainable Community, map 420, lot 39.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Do you say yes?
Barry, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, abstain.
Roberts, yes.
Make a motion to approve the institutional exemption worksheets for the Barnstormers Theater, map 201, lot 58, map 202, lot 81, map 411, sublot 44.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Did you say yes?
Barry, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
I make a motion to approve payroll in the amount of $60,771.53.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Do you say yes?
Barry, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
Make a motion to approve the accounts payable in the amount of $320,141.18.
Second.
This includes a school payment of $276,000.
Thank you.
Roll call vote.
Do you say yes?
Barry, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
Can you make a motion to approve the select board meeting minutes from April 8th?
I make a motion to approve the select board meeting minutes from April 8th.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Did you say abstains?
Barry, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
Thank you. You received them before, I just didn't print them and put them in there, so
Oh,
I
okay.
will do that before you guys leave.
Okay. In that case, I make a motion to go into non-public session under RSA 91A 32B and section 1 and, oh, where's that section 2?
That's
Session.
two.
And RSA 91A 32A, section 3.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Did you say yes?
Barry, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes.
We are now in non-public at 6:51.
Such perfect sun, breeze, no humidity really.
Can't believe how much has gotten built up since then.
Me too. I can't even remember what I was there. But it was
It's a great time, I guess, huh?
we postponed it because it was right after, we were scheduled to go in December or something, and then we ended up going in March. It was after a hurricane.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and unfortunately, the hurricanes just Correct.
Rich, you wanna just grab that so we can sign it? That's all we're waiting for.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was that, but get the hell out of the coral reef, that's for sure.
7:08.
We're gonna sign in the backwards order.
I motion to come out of non-public at 7:08.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Did you say yes?
Barry, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Curtis, yes.
Roberts, yes.
We are now out of non-public and the minutes are not sealed. I make a motion to adjourn. Thank you.
Okay.
Adjournment 7:08.
Why is that motion one that doesn't need to be seconded?
Because it's not